Hello and welcome to Preach with your host, May and Tisa.
Hi there. If everybody, we're going to start with a short meditation. I think we're going to start with a loving kindness meditation. So close your eyes and take a deep breath. And out. Take another deep breath. And as you're breathing, I want you to think about the people closest to you, the people in your family, the people that you live with. Make sure to include yourself. And I want you to think, may we be strong, may we be kind, may we be peaceful. And now I want you to think about the people in your community, the people who are living in your subdivision, the people in the city that you live in, the people in the county that you live in. And I want you to think, may you be kind, may you be strong, may you be peaceful. And I want you to think bigger. I want you to think about the whole country and everybody in it. I want you to think about the people who are protesting. I want you to think about the government. I want you to think about everybody in this country. Think, may you be kind, may you be strong, may you be peaceful. And I want you to think about the whole world and everybody that's in it, all the countries. And I want you to spread your love throughout this whole world. Say, may you be kind, may you be strong, may you be peaceful. And then let's bring it back closer to home and let's think about everybody in the country again. May you be kind, may you be strong, may you be peaceful. And then think about everybody in your community. May you be strong, may you be kind, may you be peaceful. And then think about everybody in your home, everybody in your family. Make sure to include yourself. May you be kind, may we be strong, may we be peaceful. I want you to take another breath and let it out. Thank you. So during my meditation this week, one of the things that came to me while I was pausing to be able to listen to my God Center was, don't close yourself off because you're sad. Open yourself up because you're sad. So that's what I wanted to talk about this week. I wanted to talk about sadness. So to start, I have a couple of Bible verses and then I have a quote. So the first Bible verse is from Ecclesiastes, verse 1:18. And it says, "For with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief." What do you think about that?
With much wisdom
comes much sorrow. And with the more knowledge, the more grief.
Yes, because I am super sad. Because I've been reading
and
learning about what's been going on in the world. And for years I just stopped reading and learning and stopped keeping up to date with things that was going on in the world because it was heavy. And now
the more you know, the more it breaks your heart, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right, the other verse is Romans 12, verse 2. "Do not conform any longer to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing and perfect will. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Well, I believe that God is in the center of all of us, and Christianity calls that the Holy Spirit. It was put there during the Pentecost, and then it's the energy, it's the force, it's the universe, it's the knowing. That's what Glennon Doyle calls it. Some people just simply call it God, but I believe that it's within all of us, and that because it is in all of us, and because it is a infinite, immortal energy, life force, that it will always tell us the truth and good. What was it in here? Good, pleasing, and perfect will. But not everybody listens to it. Not everybody takes the time to hear it. What do you think? No opinion?
No
That's
opinion.
okay.
I have a hard time with
Spirituality.
Even though I consider myself spiritual, but I've kind of strayed away. So I have a hard time.
And that's why I'm talking to you.
That's why this is called Preach, and I'm like, yeah. Hey.
Well, the last quote about sadness that I wanted to share today is by Pierce Shelley, the poet from the Pierce Byron Shelley. I think that's what his name is. I didn't write it down. That's my bad. But the quote is, "A poet is a nightingale who sits in darkness and sings to cheer its own solitude with sweet sounds." So a poet is a nightingale who sits in darkness and sings to cheer its own solitude with sweet sounds. So I think I shared that today because I do feel like that we need to do that more often. We need to find ways and do things that cheer us up. Because it is hard, it is sad to live in this world right now. And we all need to be a little bit more like nightingales and share art and create in order to cheer ourselves up. So, the story today is do you know why I read the End of the World books? Why I love them so much?
I do not know. All I know is it affects your psyche.
Okay, beyond that, do you know why I read them?
No.
It's not the destruction of the world, though that is fun. But what I love about those books is the spark of humanity that remains. Even when everything is gone, even when there's no hope, even when there is certain death, there is always the spark of humanity that remains in those characters every single time, and that is why I read those books. That being said, what I wanted to share today is that I suffer from debilitating depression. You know that. If I don't maintain my routine, I would probably not leave my bed, or I would come down here and senselessly watch TV for hours. The worst part about my depression is my inability to feel. Happiness, sadness, anger, everything is all so grayed out when I am depressed. And that's why when I do feel things, the only time when I'm depressed that I do feel things is when I read or write. And that's the light in my days. That's how I feel. Even in the middle of my depression is when I read or write. And that's what brings me joy, even if it's just for a moment while I'm lost in the book, because it's not about me anymore, it's about the characters. I don't like not being able to feel. I don't like not being able to reciprocate your passion or to embrace gratitude during family time, to be able to connect with them, to feel compassion for them or myself or anyone. The point, do you ever feel like that? I know you suffer from depression a little bit too.
Do I feel
Inability to feel when you're depressed? Is that one of your symptoms? Sometimes? What else do you feel when you're depressed?
Unmotivated.
Unmotivated?
But I've never... I fight the depression by hanging out with people. Going out.
And I fight it by maintaining a routine.
And so this pandemic has
really
messed up
things.
The way that I handle my depression.
Right.
Since I'm, we can't go out and hang out with people right now.
True. Well, the point I'm trying to make here is that feelings are important. And it's not about positivity or negativity. It's about what that emotion is trying to tell you. So, even if it's negative, even if it's a warning or an opportunity to think or self-preservation, that's what fear is. It's self-preservation. Our job is to find space to understand and embrace our emotions. And for me, that's sometimes impossible, especially when my anger happens. Like it tends to do. I cannot seem to put space between me and my anger sometimes. And it's a problem. And I recognize that it's a problem. But sometimes I get angry, then I'm just so thankful that I'm feeling something.
Okay.
So that's my plan. I mean, I want to be able to find space to embrace my feelings, no matter what they are. And sometimes when you're depressed, you just have to fight it. There's no other way to do it. Fight it, find a therapist, talk it through, pray, meditate. Find a routine that works for you and keep to it. Exercise.
Well, since I can't hang out with people, I'm just going to have to switch to a routine.
Routines help. You don't think they do, but they do.
I'm chaotic. I don't care for routine.
I can't live without a routine. So for today, tomorrow, and the rest of your life, don't try to run. Stop, turn, and embrace the feelings, and then let them go if they need to be let go of. I need to really learn how to do that with anger. Shame is there for a reason as well, because you need community in your life. And shame is something that we definitely can let go, and it's also probably the most debilitating feeling of them all. It's nonstop. It's a process. It's a nonstop, continuing process. It never stops. But the point is, you need to embrace the process, not the end result. So if you embrace your anger today, you have to embrace your anger tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. Because it's going to come up, and it's going to come up in different ways. And at the end of the day, what's important is doing your best. Is being able to say, hey, maybe the day wasn't perfect. Maybe I was unmotivated half the day, but I did my best. And for a moment there, I did a really good job. Or maybe today wasn't my day at all. Tomorrow is another day to do my best, and it's okay. But moving forward, self-compassion, self-forgiveness, gratitude for what you did get done, and embracing the journey to being able to figure it all out. I think that that's not going to take away the depression, but it's going to help you recover. And get help. If you need help, get help. Do you have anything else to say about sadness or